So this is for an extremely low budget caster adjustment on a 1969 Mustang. This is bought off of eBay pretty cheap. I think it was 30 bucks or something. It's like a vintage Mac Tools alignment tool. It's got camber on this side, caster on this side, and then this is how you just balance the tool. So here's the layout without any special tools. And this is just a basic rough layout. It's not going to be exact, so basically pick a center spot in your tire. You need a straight edge and then something to 90 it with. You're going to basically come off of this, look for your center mark. I'm just going to 90 off of the tire as best as you can. And then you're going to want two 20-degree marks off the center line. So on this, you got 20 degrees right there. So 20 degrees off the center it right there, and then take a straight edge from this point, the center point, to your 20-degree mark. And then you're just going to repeat it for the 20 degrees on the other side. Point to your 20 degrees. Now when I spin my tire, I'm going to try and get my straight edge off of here and line it up with my 20 degrees there. So right now this is zeroed out on top. So I'm looking for my 20 degrees. That's about it. So I'm gonna zero out the caster side. Let's see, this is the caster. Yeah, this is the caster side. So I'm zeroing this out. Zero right there. Now I'm going to turn it 20 degrees the other way. And that's about 20 degrees the opposite direction. Now I'm gonna zero this, level out the tool. Zeroed out. And then I'm gonna read my caster. And it shows like a 4 degrees positive, which is a little high, but should be good. So you can buy a turn plate from eBay for around $130. The tire will sit on it and you can check your measurements with that. But cheaper than that, just from Home Depot, here's some vinyl flooring, and I just cut it to like 12-inch, 15-inch pieces. Put some grease on it, and then both of the slippery sides go together, and this works pretty good. It has like a foam topping on it, and the tire kind of grabs it pretty good, and price is right. So on the caster, it can be thought of as like a bicycle fork, the front tire, bicycle wheel. It's always leaning forward like this, and that's would be your kingpin behind here. And so as that leans forward, that's a positive caster. And on the adjustment bar over there, if you tighten it up, pull it forward, it's going to pull the lower control arm forward and give you more caster. And the opposite is true. Here's the adjustment for the caster. There's first you got to remove this cotter pin, then you're going to remove this bolt or nut right here and loosen this one. There's one back here you're going to loosen, and as you pull it out this way, it's going to extend this rod and push that lower control arm back, and that's going to be negative camber. When you tighten both of these bolts up, it's going to pull this rod forward, which will pull the lower control arm forward and give you more positive camber. And to adjust the camber on a 1969, it usually has these. You kind of just turn these and spin it, and it pushes the lower control arm in or out. But I replaced it with these. They kind of lock in instead of with these ones. When you hit a bump, they can kind of move a little bit. Then you got to keep an eye on them all the time. And these will lock into place a lot better. The only thing is it's kind of hard to figure out. There's so many different measurements from side to side, but they hold up a little better. So on the upper control arm that sits right about here, if you add about 2 spacers to this front bolt right here, it's going to push this out and it'll give you a little more clearance. It'll center your wheel a little better and allow you to get a little more positive caster. So I have a camber at 1/2 inch on this side. Camber is right at 1/2 inch negative, and camber is the top of the wheel is in compared to the bottom. To adjust your toe, you usually want 1/8 of an inch tighter in the front than in the back. And the way you adjust it is these right here. And I believe you just loosen these 2 bolts and you spin this around. And I believe on the driver's side, you spin this down to widen the back. And I believe it's the opposite on the passenger side. So driver's side, you're spinning this down once you loosen these 2 bolts, and it'll widen it, and to get that 1/8 of an inch extra wider on the back.